Hey guys, this is Chandan Kumar from India, and once again I'm here with my newest tutorial exclusively for CGTuts Plus. And this time I will tell you about depth of field in 3ds Max. I will tell you about generating a frame in 3ds Max, and later you can apply depth of field in After Effects. Depth of field makes the scene more realistic, and it's very essential to give depth of field effect in your scene if you want to have real feelings. So we will start with some basic concept of depth of field and then move to some advanced techniques in 3ds Max and After Effects. So let's start, and let's make a small scene for that. So I drag a simple plane in the viewport, something like this, and then maybe quite big, and let's make some teapots here. Put it here and adjust the scene a little bit, something like this. Okay, right now the teapot is edgy, and let's tessellate it. So go to modifier and increase the segments of the teapot. Fine. Now let's make several copies of this teapot while pressing shift and dragging. Make some 5 teapots in the scene and put all the teapots like this, so that we can easily see all the teapots, something like this. Okay, now press Ctrl C to make a camera in the perspective view. Now if you render the scene, it looks like a simple rendered frame. Now let's start taking the depth of field thing. Select the camera, and here we have depth of field. So first of all you need to enable it, and this is the depth of field parameter. It says use target distance, and this is the target of the camera. So it means if the target is here, so this teapot will be in focus and rest of the teapots will be out of focus. So let's see and render the frame, and it will take some time because it is rendering several passes. You can see that this teapot and these teapots are a bit blurred. To make it more visible, let's tweak some values, like increase the sample radius like 4, and now if you render the scene, and now you can clearly see that only this teapot is in focus, and except it all other teapots are out of focus and blurred. You can increase the quality, like total passes are 12 right now, so you can increase it to maybe 20. And now if you render this again, it will take now some more time because it will render now 20 passes, and it makes the quality a bit better. So now this is much better. Now if you want to change the focus, then you need to change the target position also. Now render the scene. Since we have fixed the camera target to the first teapot, So now the first teapot will be in focus, and rest of the teapots will be out of focus and blurred. You can see it here. So this is the thing. So this is a very simple depth of field in scanline, and I would really say that you can't get that much of good quality in this procedure, and also generating the depth of field here wouldn't let you control it in the post-production softwares. All the time you will have to come in 3ds Max again even to make a small change. So I would say, why not to make a system which could be controlled in post, like in After Effects, Fusion, or new kind of softwares, so that you won't have to come in 3ds Max again and again. And you remember that this technique is not limited to 3ds Max only. You can do the same thing in any 3D software like Maya, Cinema 4D, Blender, etc. So let's start, and for now turn this option off so that we have a single frame without any depth of field. And now go to rendering, render setup, and I would change the rendering engine from default scanline to mental ray. And now press M to open the material editor, and we can choose like DGS material. The diffuse color I will choose something like this. There are some other options too, but I wouldn't go deep in that. So I choose the first teapot and apply this DGS material onto it. Now if you render the scene, you will find something like this. It looks nice. So just like this, I would choose another DGS material with some other color in diffuse and apply it onto this teapot. And just like this, I will keep assigning different colors to the rest of the teapots. So now it's done, and one thing more, let's apply some lights in the scene. So I will pick an Omni light and put it here in the scene. Shadow may be as shadow map, let's see, and just copy the same light here and put it here. Turn the shadow off for this light. Intensity may be a bit down. Now for this light, decrease the intensity a bit and do the same for this light too. And let's change the shadow to ray traced shadow. And now check the rendered frame. It looks quite nice. But there is no depth of field in the scene right now. Increase the intensity a bit high. That's fine. Now go to rendering, render setup, and choose a bigger frame like 800 by 600. And here in render elements, click on add and add Z depth. Okay. And now if you render the scene, first the diffuse pass will be rendered and then the Z depth pass. And what does it mean? This is white, this is gray, and here you can't see anything beyond that. It says that the area which is bright, it will be in full focus, and as it is going darker, it will be out of focus and blurred. And what does it depend on? It depends upon these values, Z minimum and maximum. So what is minimum and maximum? Z minimum is something near to the camera, and maximum means till how much area it will cover. So we need to know the exact minimum and maximum value for the correct result. So for that, we need a tape to measure the exact distance value. So go to helper and choose tape. This is the camera, so start from here and drag it till here. So this is the minimum value because I want this teapot to be in focus. So till this point or distance, everything will be in focus, and this is the minimum Z value. If you go to the modifier, you will find the length of the tape from here to here is 209.728. So just change the minimum value like 209 or maybe 210. And now let's determine the maximum Z value. So pick the tail of the tape and drag it till here. And I want this to be maximum. It means Z depth will be calculated till this point or teapot only. And anything beyond that won't be visible. And pick this to know the length. This is 713. So I will change the maximum value as 713. Check the update option, select the camera view and fix it. Now render the scene once again. So now we have diffuse and desired Z depth pass. You can see a problem here, the jagged edges. It can create some problem in post. So let's amend it. First of all, make a clone of it just to make the comparison. And now once again go to the settings and here check this enable filtering option. And go to renderer and in filter you can choose Michel instead of box. And now if you render the scene once again, you have this. Now let's compare both the versions together. This is before. Zoom it to 4:1 ratio, and this is the newest version. And here you will notice a huge difference. Most of the problem has gone. So now let's save the images. This is Z depth and maybe TGA. It will do. And for this I would save it as diffuse and TGA format. That's fine. So now let's move to After Effects. This is After Effects. Let's bring the two images here, diffuse and Z depth. Drag these here as a single composition, and duration may be like 6 seconds. Okay. For now, turn off the Z depth layer, select diffuse and go to effect, and here in blur and sharpen apply lens blur. As soon as you apply lens blur, it blurs the whole image. First of all, turn this repeat pixel edges option on. It will amend the edges, and here in depth map layer option you have to choose Z depth layer, and as soon as you do it, you will find this part of the image blurred. If you increase it to 255, you will find that this teapot is in focus, and as the number and distance go up, the teapots are blurring more and more. This is iris radius. If you increase its value, you will find this part of the image going more blurred. Don't increase it too much. 15 or 18 will be good. So here in this image you can control the depth of field smoothly, and you don't have to go to 3ds Max again and again. If you decrease the blur focal distance, you will find at this point or value these are blurred, but this teapot is in focus now. Now if you decrease the value more, you will find now the last teapot is in focus now, and all other teapots are out of focus. Now let's change the maximum Z value so that we have a different result in post. So keep the maximum value limited till here. This time the maximum value is 357.776. So make it 358. And minimum this time 2:1. Or render the scene, and this time Z depth is changed. Since the diffuse is same, but Z depth has been changed, so I just replace it with the first Z depth file. Now come to After Effects, right click on the Z depth and reload the footage, and see how the scene has changed. Right now the front red teapot is in focus. Decrease the value a bit, and now you can see this yellow teapot is in focus. But now if I make it 0, you will find that all these last 4 teapots are in focus together except the first 2 teapots. Now this yellow teapot is in focus. Now this time I will use another effect, Sapphire Z defocus. I rely on Sapphire plugins very much because quality is truly awesome. Here in Z buffer, select Z depth, and as soon as you do it, you can see the great quality here. This is focal depth. You can see the awesome result here. This is depth of field. If you decrease it, the blur will decrease too. If you want to control the focus on every single teapot, then go to 3ds Max once again. Take this kind of Z depth which covers every teapot, and this time save it as Z1 depth TGA. That's fine. Here in After Effects, bring this Z1 depth image in the comp, put it here, and in the diffuse layer I will apply another Z depth. I will apply another Z defocus effect. Turn off the first effect, and in the second effect I will choose Z1 depth as the Z buffer, and now I can focus on each and every teapot individually. So this is the beauty of this kind of Z depth. You can focus on any of the desired teapot. See this. Now this purple teapot is in focus. For this you need this kind of Z depth channel. Now let's animate the focal depth. Play the scene and you will see how depth of field is shifting from one teapot to another. It looks quite nice. You can see the affected shadow also. This is a great thing, guys. I mean, it shows the real power of post-production. You really don't need to go again and again in your 3D software for getting such kind of result. In post-production, with the help of Z-depth pass, you can easily control it. So guys, I hope you must have enjoyed this tutorial. Please remember that this technique is not limited to 3ds Max and After Effects only. You can do it with any other 3D application and compositing software. So see you next time in my next tutorial. This is Chandan Kumar from India for CG Tuts Plus exclusively. Have a nice time. Bye-bye.